Hi there, I'm Pamela Martin. We'd like to let you know about an event that's coming up in Vancouver. It's a conference about women and business called Accelerate, but it's so much more than that. It's a thought leadership conference, and the woman behind it is Barbara Mowat.
My whole philosophy for small businesses today and for any business is that we have to learn how to collaborate and we have to learn how to integrate. Connecting minds, exchanging ideas, because we cannot grow by ourselves.
Caliber of people such as yourself that are going to be speaking at this conference is just blowing me away, and I'm in it. I'm even one of the speakers.
How you as a leader and as a professional can be aligned with your values, with your passion, with your strength, and how you can position yourself as well in this fast evolving working environment.
Who are you specifically thinking should be attending?
It's definitely for women, but it's also for males, male business owners, female business owners, corporate representatives, government attendees, trade practitioners, right? From academia, from finance, from customer brokerage, and legal expertise. We need all of that. That's why I'm inviting the students from the universities, right? International trade. And of course, I want the media to be there. I want them to hear what are the participants asking for and what knowledge can they gain from the speakers.
And there is a reason behind, a purpose to come as well, something beautiful, networking firstly with all these powerful women like you, Charla. I can't wait to see you in person. Barbara, I know already from last year, but all the other speakers that I had the privilege of getting to connect over Zoom. I want to see them. I want to go to all the conferences, but moreover, to see the city, to see Vancouver and Canada. I was never there. That's for me very important, you see. So the fun is much more prevalent than the conference.
Every speaker I have chosen really believes in women's empowerment and growth, using all the tools and new strategies that they can possibly learn.
I want to leave this world for a better place for my children and my children's children.
Yeah.
And I mean, you can see a problem and then you can think somebody else will take care of it. But I'm thinking, well, if I can try, I can maybe help solve this problem. 20, 30 years ago in appliances, there was hardly use of any plastic. Like cars, there was no use of plastic there. But now more and more, there's use of plastics in appliances. But nobody thought about what to do with the plastic coming out of that. And it was just simply discarded into mountains of waste. So then I thought, we need to do something about this. So together with several universities and years of R&D, we did trial and error and found a kind of a recipe for what type of plastics out of the appliances we can use and how we can make that into something which solves another problem. Single-use plastic bags, which is in itself a huge problem in the world.
I think that distributed energy, like microgrids, if everybody had rooftop solar and we just shared our electricity with each other when there's not enough, for example, that's the way of the future.
Only 2% of venture capital money actually ends up in ventures that are founded by women. And for us, we're really wanting to put our finger on the scale to change that and ensure that women who are building growth companies have the opportunity to access venture capital in a way that maybe they haven't had the opportunity in the past.
And when governments, companies, individuals, associations, and so on have questions about the economist, what is the impact of international students on the economy of Canada? Where are the jobs? More recently, the question is, where are the workers? What industries are going to prosper? What's going to happen in the future? These are the kinds of questions I answer.
It's stories that guide our work. I'm sure you can attest to that as well. So when a patient shares their stories, and you can see the through line between so many of these stories. And then when I myself became a patient, in a story that I openly share through postpartum depression and anxiety, that's when things had to change, right? It's when it starts to affect you, your family, your job, your surrounding, that you go, what I was doing wasn't working. And so I took the lessons I learned and the stories that patients teach me every day and package it into something that I feel when the audience listens to my message, the most common feedback I get is, this is what I needed to hear right now.
I was in the computer game business for like 30 years. I wrote the first role-playing game in Japan, became a publisher, traveled the world looking for games to bring to Japan, found Tetris. And that's around the time that Game Boy came out. And I thought, ooh, Tetris is the perfect game for Game Boy. And so what I did is I got on a plane on it with a tourist visa and went to got the Game Boy rights to Tetris. So that's my claim to fame. I didn't write Tetris. It's a Russian guy. He is my partner till today. But fast forward, started a company that made games for mobile phones, and I sold that company for a lot of money. A month after that, I found myself in the back of an ambulance with 100% blockage of the widowmaker. That's the largest artery in your heart. 95% of the people who have that particular thing happen to them die. So in that ambulance, I did not know any of that. I just knew that I was in deep kimchi. And so I said to myself, the first thing I said is like, what are you talking about? I haven't spent any of the money yet. This is just after I sold my company. But the second thing I said, no, I'm not going. I still have stuff to do. I got to thinking about what is stuff. And I worked it backwards from the end of my life. What is it that's going to upset me if I didn't do something about it by the end of my life?
It's even the awareness and the discussion. If to titrate your mental health medication, people might feel fearful or even not want to go to the doctor. But if you had, diabetes or whatnot, you're not going to say, oh, why did you have to increase your insulin? Like, you need to be stronger. Like, we never have that notion. So the stigma and the shame is still there. And I think that's why speaking about it, especially in the corporate world and the professional world, I like to say that I see the person behind the profession.
It is not acceptable anymore. What we used to do in the history is that we make something, we consume it, use it, and then we throw it away. I always say, where is away? There is no away.
It's here.
So away, there's no away. We throw it away. Where is away? So there is no
it's
away.
Earth. Yeah.
So every business owner, if you look at what are you actually using as products, where are those products ending up, and how can you prevent that from becoming waste?
And we noticed that the women and the men were getting asked interesting questions. Men were getting asked questions about growth, and women were being asked questions about risk. And when you're an investor and there's biases brought to the table by the investment decision makers, in addition to biases around founder impact, those answers are very different when you're asked growth questions and risk questions. So for us, we felt there was a big gap and that we could put maybe our self-disclosed bias in the decision-making process to balance the scales for founders so they'd have a chance to access capital that is very difficult for women to access.
So be persistent. Don't be discouraged by the first one to give you up. Don't be afraid to rewrite your business plan and try again, and keep on pushing. And when you succeed, tell everybody so that you'll encourage the others.
All of the lessons, like I always tell the audience members, you're never going to find this in any textbook. And that's what makes it special, right? You're trying to weave together ideas that make sense to me and hopefully resonate with you as well.
And it's not going to be only listening. The audience needs to move. The audience needs to participate. And there will be a lot of opportunity for thinking and assessing yourself.
And I'd just like to close. People ask me if I have hope. And I say, no, I don't have hope. I have determination. Because we're going to fix this. This is not about hope. Nobody's going to save us. We have to save ourselves.
And you are going to learn from your peers more than you're ever going to learn from a course, from a seminar. Having the right mentors, the right connections, knowing where to go for the right resources that you want. So it's all about growing your business with the speed of collaboration.